Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Let's get started. So, tonight we're going to work on the Unity editor window development a little bit more. I want to make this particular inspector window. I've started creating a custom inspector window for my scriptable object for my dungeons. That way it is very intuitive to me what tile goes into each slot, right? Now, what I can't do directly is manipulate the sprites themselves, right? So I've got this set up. I believe this is a sprite. If I click on it. Yeah, it is. So it's a sprite. So I can't directly manipulate it in a way that's straightforward, if that makes sense. Like, I can't drag the image in, right? That won't work in this. You have to drag the tile in. But by dragging the tile in, you can then change these images. So let me make an example of this. So if I put this one here, this image changes, right? It changes to represent what the tile is. So it makes it very quick for me to say that's the right thing when I have these laid out right. And that's what I'm working on right now, is getting them to lay out in the correct order, the correct sequence. I kind of like this being over here a little bit more, so I'm going to pull this inspector over here. Just a little bit more space over here. So let's get the rest of these sprites located in the correct positions for the wall surrounding pieces. And we'll go from there, right? So the idea is I'll surround this with the walls, or make the walls up correctly. I might start peppering in where these are located as well. Not sure how I'm going to format that completely, but we're going to work through it tonight. So that's our goal, right? That's what to do. So we've got a method. Let me go into this method that is creating an object field of type sprite with a specific width. I found that width gives you nice spacing between them. I'm not giving it a name. I found if I don't specify that particular value, it really formats it funny, right? It doesn't even necessarily give it the image or sprite slot for it to represent that thing. Am I clipping really bad, guys? Let me look into my own mic. Am I clipping really bad, guys? Oh yeah, I am. Wow. I gotta turn that down just a little bit. Check, check, check. Is that better? That better? That better? Better? Yeah, it's better. Okay. So yeah, that's the idea. So this begin horizontal makes all of the components that you add to the screen after it on the same horizontal line, or at least it tries to put them on the same horizontal line until the next end horizontal. So that's how I did this first row and the second row, right? So I've got a begin and an end horizontal for each. So now the idea is I need to get the east and the west walls in place on another horizontal. So let's start another horizontal. I've got all the tiles represented here, but I don't have them in the correct order. So we need to go the west left wall first, the west right wall next. That'll be this spot, this spot. Then we need the ground in the middle. Then we need a east left wall and an east right wall. And that should finish out that row. So we can say end horizontal. And let's just save that, make sure it compiles right, or works right after it compiles here. Looks right to me. So let's get another horizontal. And this one's going to be the southern wall, but the top row of the southern wall, if that makes sense. So, gosh, I'm trying to get my windows organized here. Okay, let's just do it full screen, and we'll just toggle back and forth. So we want south. We want the north west corner first. Then we want the northeast corner. Then we want the south top wall. Then we want the southwest. Hey, Ballista. How's it going, man? I'm gonna go do an east. Oh, we want north, sorry. We want north. And then northeast. And then we went southeast, southwest, southeast, the bottom, southwest. So that should be the correct order, I believe, for both groups then. So let's say end horizontal, begin horizontal, and then another end horizontal. Save that, and what do we get? Perfect. Okay, so now we need to pepper in where these things go with the actual tiles that we set, because again, we can't change these to anything. In fact, it won't even let us. I set them to read only, basically. So, okay, no worries, man. We need to do this for each one of these. We're gonna begin a horizontal, I think. Say end horizontal as well. Like that. And we basically need to do all of this, but with these names here instead. So let's grab a bunch of these. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Okay, and we just grab them like this, I think. This one will be the top. We keep that as is. Okay, then we need to grab this and set it on each individual one. Okay, let's see how that looks. So I was afraid of. They're too wide to fit. They are very wide though. Can we set the width on that possibly? Now I'm going to try this fully knowing that 60 is probably way too small. I just want to see what it's going to do, how it's going to react to it. It would almost be ideal to have the label above each one. Like a field and then a label wrapped. Oh, that's awful. Okay. I could separate them out so that the labels is on a separate field altogether. Let's do that for, say, this one. And we'll say editor GUI layout dot label. That is not the field that I've picked. Great. We'll grab this. We'll undo till we get that string back, because I don't remember what it was. Paste that back in, and then call this. Now what happens if we do that? Now it's only going to be one of them. I understand that. Oh, it didn't like it. Oh, need the extra semicolon. Compile, compile, compile. Okay, we get our label on its own line, and then the north actual spot there. kind of options do we have for this? I mean, we could do the 60 width thing, but that's probably going to be all funny because it's going to be on its own spiel here. Let's also do another begin and an end after this. Editor GUI layout end horizontal. That's close to what I want to do. Close. So I want it so that it's basically in the same position as the object we're trying to update. Okay, just take a second and look at some other examples of other inspectors that we might be able to glean something from as a better way of doing this. So let's see, not under 2D extras, under tiles probably. There's lots of different tile things. So that's an override one that I just created as an example, trying to figure out how to do an image. See, the image and the tile itself are two different pieces, and in this case it's taking a tile here. Oh, it's taking a sprite, wow. But this one, you can't edit that one. It takes you to the, yeah, you can't even click the button, so it's disabled. Okay, and that's using the statefulness of Unity Editor. So if we do editor GUI layout dot disabled enabled, maybe it's GUI layout dot layout dot disabled enabled active. Oh, what's it called? I had it in my other script. Find my other script. It's on my editor script. Dungeon window. Dungeon editor. No, it's the window one. So there's just a statement that you basically say on or off. GUI.enabled. That's what we want. So that sounds like it would do something completely different than what it does, but it disables the whole thing so that it won't actually do anything. Back to that inspector window once it compiles. There we go. The select button is no longer an option. We can't choose it. So that's cool. We can double click on the image though, and it takes us to that image or to this right. Cool. Now, okay, so I need to re-enable also. So we'll say GUI enabled dot equals true. This should enable this for manipulation. Oh no, I got the wrong spot. I'm going to disable it down here. Okay, so now we can still pick this one. That width though. It'd be cool if I could get the text to rotate vertically, so I could still read the whole text, because it's cutting it off right now, being only 60 wide. But let's extend this to the next one, right? So we've got this type of deal. where we need another label. In fact, we're gonna need all 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just plop in the text of what it needs to be for each one. Okay. Get rid of that version. Okay, those should in theory all line up now. Let's try and keep the formatting somewhat in line so it's nice and tight with what I want it to do. Okay. It would be really cool if I had the width of the window. GUI.width. Window. That width. No, that size. Let's try editor GUI layout.width. No. Window. No. It's the rect for the editor control. Sure. So is that returning a rect or what is it? It is. So rect editor size equals that. Rect editor size width. Nice. Let's make this lowercase. Make this lowercase. And I say float width equals width. Actually, put it that way. Shouldn't need the rest of the width, the editor sizing. Float. Come on. Vector does not contain a. Perhaps if I spell it right. So there's our width, and we will say we'll need some constant value. That divided by 5, right? Let's not do it that way. Let's do it this way instead. So we're going to say another float element width equals that. And I'll put element width in all of those instead. So let's do a find and replace. 60. Replace with element width. Place next. And this one is in its own individual, so we'll need a float. Let's make it a variable at the top level. Okay, what's it do to us? It should scale across the whole window, hopefully. Or smash everything into one spot. Cool. Let's put a breakpoint there. Attach to Unity. Once you're done compiling, blah, blah, blah. Step over. Your width is 1. Cool. That clearly is not what we needed. So let's search for the correct way to grab the width of the editor window. Unity custom inspector window width. Get the width of inspector window area. Yes, that's exactly what I want to do, please. Scale, flexible space, GUI layout, blah, 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 blah. Turns relative to the current window. Scroll bars are going to be an issue. Okay. Screen dot width, really? Current view width. Current view width. Wow. GUI editor GUI utility. Editor GUI utility. Dot current view width. Save. And compile. Bingo. Now, what I'm not taking into account, and I anticipated, is we need a delta in there for the what's the word I'm looking for? Margin between them, right? There's a few pixels here, a few pixels here, a few pixels here, a few pixels here, and it's adding up to being over there, plus whatever's right there. So we need to somehow back that amount out. So we'll say a float padding equal to 10, and we'll times that by 5, and we'll say we're gonna get this even more fancy. So float num elements equals 5, and we're gonna say num elements here and here. We're going to take this and say +2 because we need the 5 that we've got displayed. So we got one on each side of them, right? So I'm trying to think through. So they'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need +1. So we get it on both sides. Oh, we didn't take into account the padding. So width minus padding. There we go, perfect. So now as I scale it, they move perfectly. And I wanted to make this its own thing because we might end up having one here and one here as well for these labels for these side pieces. I'm thinking the top row and the second row will be on the top. The bottom row and this row here will be on the bottom. But I think this middle row gonna have to be on the sides, maybe? That or do 3 rows at the top, 2 at the bottom. There's no good way to do that middle row, I guess. Yeah, there's no good way to do that middle row. I can't put it like right inside because then it'll look funny. What this allows me to do is I can scale the size of this thing and seal the whole labels if I need to. Or I can shrink it down and look at the image better. Okay, so we've got these. We need to do the same for these. And I think I'm just going to capture the text that's here by doing this. And then copy this whole thing, paste it in again, and just start grabbing the labels. I grabbed the wrong labels. I need this group. Wonder why they look the same. There we go. Now we're grabbing the styles and the bottoms. Okay. I'm going to grab the third row for the middle section. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we get rid of this. This needs to be actually directly under these. We'll need the same here and the same here, but we need to change which ones it's routing us around to. So we need to say north, west, corner, RTH, west, corner, wall, south, west. And that same value needs to be put over here. North, west, corner, wall, southeast. Awesome, using the same variable names as the label names. Makes it much quicker. Okay, what do we got? Compile, please. Should get 3 rows of variables at the very top. So now, if I wanted to change that out to say this, I can. And I could do the north top and this. Perfect. No undo functionality though. That's sad. It's quick enough to do it back though. Oh, let's get it up here. No. I'm going to get the rest of the variables on here for the bottom half. What I was just contemplating is, do I need this label if I can see visually where it's at? And can I take this object and put it directly above right here? And this one directly above here without breaking the visual look of it to see if it's lining up right? Because that would make it pretty stinking compact. Well, it's compact like this too, I guess, right? I like that it scales all the way down or up. Be cool if these were centered horizontally within the space that they had. Not sure that that's possible. What does this return? In terms of a GUI layout option. So can I do, no, I cannot. GUI layout option is F12. F12 on you. It's a sealed class. Not sure what a sealed class is. You directly reconstruct them using layout functions in the GUI class. I'm wondering if I can get 2 on it. Oh wait, this is an array. It's an array of options, so I could define it as an array, okay. Is there a GUI layout? Gosh, come on. Give me some autocomplete GUI layout dot center align. Not seeing it. Unity editor window align GUI layout options or center GUI components. Really? GUI layout, flexible space, label, flexible space. Oh, that might do. I think flexible space makes it fill the area. But it might fill the whole line instead of just that section of it. That's 60 wide. Yeah, I did nothing for us. Cool. Because we're defining it as filling the whole space. I'll stick with what it is. It was a nice to have, not a need to have. So let's get the last 2 rows in. So we need that. We need all of the images added. Excuse me. And then down here we need the labels for those last 2. Come on, fit on my screen. That would have done it too, huh? Mistakenly scaled the font. Okay, got those. Top wall, top wall. Corner, corner, corner. There we go. And compile. Something's off on those, but it just got fixed. Okay, we need to re-enable the GUI. That is simple enough. And that needs to be done here. So GUI.enable true. There it is. So why did I go to this hassle? Well, I wanted to, first off, because I think that this stuff is kind of fun. I'm twisted like that. But also, if I can find the right folder for scripts, Dungeon Room, this mine template never got finished, partially because it's a pain to do. So now, if I grab this one, it will be much easier to figure out and see if I'm doing it right, which was the part that tripped me up before, was I could never tell if I'm really doing it right because there was no visual representation of what I was setting these to like there is now here. So that's one piece. Where is the next part at though? I think it's this. that would be the middle. Then this would be the right there. And this is that one. Okay. We've got some more junk. Then we've got the left side. And its bottom. The right side. And its bottom. The mine floor, which we can pick whatever for that, right? Okay. And then we need to do the bottom row. Which it looks like it's probably... Those are the extra bits. I just realized that this is set up so that if I do this just right, we will get the proper width on this and everything should start to float. Nope, it's not. Bummer. They're just out of order. I still want to put them in those other slots, but it's quick enough to correct myself. You can tell it's not going to drop there. Visualize. Bingo. Now we have our mine. And it looks like it's right. So now that I've got my mine template set up in my scriptable objects through this, I can go to a brand new level. Let's just create or get the testing one out. Test tiles, this one. And we can go to our dungeon setup window, grab the prefab that we're after, which is this one we just created. Select our area, which is at 0, wherever 0 is at. Boop. Boop. Hit fill. And we get our mine. Just like that. Nice. So that, within what, 5 minutes maybe, I was able to create the mine version of it. So creating another one for other dungeons will be very quick as well. Or other scenes even. And if I go like that, get the inspector, and I can go right in and edit it as I see fit. Me gusta. Now, expanding on this, the other reason I wanted this is there's a high probability I will set up other fields in the scriptable object. So if I go to, where is it? It's script. Under dungeon. Nope, that's dungeon editor. Dungeon. So all these fields, I could set up additional, say, for stairs, doorways, etc. And then start using those to place on the right layers that those objects need to be on. And everything should just glue together then. And this is where I'm thinking I could make this game procedural pretty stinking easy at this point. Because all it would take for me to do is define each of the dungeon room types with one of these scriptable objects. And write some procedural code, which I basically are doing, right? So that's what this is doing, is creating a room based on those objects. So I can go like this. Create a subroom. Boom. And if I add a door button here, I could select where I want the door to be, say down there. I guess it needs to be pretty stinking small for a door, right? But and then just hit door. Somebody wants to spam. I'm gonna set myself to do not disturb. Think I'm D&D. So like right here, if we don't want that there, let's say a layer to clear. We want collisions, clear collisions. Now that's gone. Okay. What if I created yet another window that took what was in this selection, basically? So use the same selection type code, right? And that window scans that area and displays the sprites that are in that area for those tiles, but it does it layer by layer. So you can see what's on the individual layers. Could that be useful? I don't know that it could. It'd be nice visually to see it, so I could understand what was there that I might have painted. But I don't know that it's good from an editing standpoint, because I can't directly edit those images. I'd have to have it set like this. And if this was a big area, that'd be a lot to fill in this window. Be cool to see what's on what layer, though. If I do that, does that go negative? It does. Okay. Well, this was good. This is what I wanted to accomplish tonight. I think that might be all for tonight, guys. I'm trying to sit here and think about what else I need to do that I can do in the next 20 minutes or so. And I don't know that I can. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go ahead and upload the videos from the weekend that I forgot about over to YouTube. Also, if you're watching on Twitch, there's a high likelihood that either sometime this week or this weekend, I will try and stream on YouTube directly. So if you want to be part of them all, go find me on YouTube, TechStackLP. Just because I want to see how many people watch over there. See what kind of participation I get on YouTube versus Twitch. So, it's TechStack. Signing off. Bye.